Hi everybody, it's Jenny from the Missouri Star Quilt Company, and it is Tuesday Newsday, and actually it's kind of a bit of a blustery day, a Winnie the Pooh day, if you will. It's kind of gray and foggy outside and a little bit of wind blowing, so not a ton of sunshine, but we're hopeful. We're hopeful because this afternoon it's supposed to get nice and warm and sunny, and we are just hanging on for this moment. So lots of people in town today shopping. And it's a lot of fun to see everybody coming into town. So we have some things happening, you know we do, if you follow along. First, let's cover all the main basics first. Our tutorial this week is called Magic Carpet Ride. And this is the block right here. And I just want you to know that I was looking for a carpet for my back porch. And, a lot of people walk in that back porch. We're a back porch family, and there's a lot, it just needs to have some kind of pattern on it so that it doesn't show all the dirt. And so I literally found a carpet that looked just like this. And I thought, that is so cool for a quilt. So I didn't get it for the rug on my back porch, but I screenshotted it and I'm like, I'm going to make a quilt out of this. And so what's fun to see, I like the little tricks involved with my quilting. And so what's fun to note is that you'll get 2 blocks out of each layer cake. And so the way I cut it and the way I sew it is the fun part in the tutorial, where you'll just be like, oh, that works perfect. And that's so fun. And it looks really cute. So Magic Carpet Ride, because we're all about those new carpets, The one I got on my back porch is a patchworky kind of carpet, but it's, yeah, I don't really want to make a quilt out of that one, but it does hide the dirt. All right, so next we have my book. I have everything in a stack today. I'm so organized. So this is my new book, Quilting Through Life. And what are we saying about this book, Annie? Oh, it's available for pre-order right now. And so it's pre-order through May 30th. And the book officially releases on June 4th. And we are having a party for that book release. We're going to be out signing books and, meeting everybody and greeting everybody. So this is really fun. Several people have asked me, if I lay this down, can they see it, or do I need to hold it up like this?
They can see it like this.
Okay. So I just wanted to show you that in each section, look that right there. Can you see that? That's my Annie girl right there. That was when she was going to college. That's her quilt I made her for college, Wonky Stars. And you know why? Because all stars are different and all stars are beautiful, and she is beautiful.
She's saying I'm a
just
little
like
wonky.
She is. She's just a little. She's like her grandma. All right, so this section is called graduation, because one of the things I do for my grandkids is I make them graduation quilts. And so I have some of the patterns that I've made my own grandkids in here, plus some ones I think that you'll like. So people have asked, are they full patterns? Completely. This is Noah. Noah actually designed his quilt while I was making the tutorial. He actually said, Grandma, what if you did this? And so we made a whole new pattern out of that. And that was his. Then Annie's was the Wonky Stars. And so I just want to show you in this pattern right here. So it's just like as if you were buying the pattern. It's everything you need to make that quilt and all the pattern for it. Here's another pinwheel on point. I made that for Sam. So there are full patterns in here, basically, is what I'm telling you. Full patterns and lots of fun in that book. And then stories, of course, about each stage, what the children were doing, what was happening, and lots of stories. I'm a big storyteller, so I love that. All right, so we did that. Let's see, what else do we have, Annie? Oh, we have a couple of things happening with our newsletter. So I have a newsletter that we do here at Missouri Star, and it's basically what's kind of happening in my life, and then what's for sale, and all those kind of things. And so we've kind of upped it a notch, and we're going to put that oatmeal cake recipe in there. So Alan made a talk about the oatmeal cake recipe, and it doesn't matter where we go. If anybody asks us what we should bring, if we say, what do you want us to bring? They'll say oatmeal cake. So the cake itself is oatmeal. It has a wonderful layer on top of like a German chocolate cake, that layer with the sugar and
The coconut.
Coconut and you know, it's you just
Oh,
kind of
it's-
pour it over. And then what makes it chocolate is that Ron actually sprinkles the chocolate chips on top, and the hot topping melts the chips, and then he spreads it around and he puts it in the fridge so the chocolate can get hard again. And everybody loves that. Even so, our daughter-in-law Drea, when Porter was like 1 year old, we asked what we could bring. He wasn't even eating food, and we asked what we could bring to their dinner, and she said, "Oh, Porter wants oatmeal cake." We're like, "Yeah, Porter does for sure." Anyway, so that's happening in the newsletter. Also in the newsletter, I did a little show, a couple little features on where I dropped into quilt shops, and we put those together in a little show called Quilt Shop Drop-In. And you'll get that first in the newsletter as well. So Annie will put a link where you can go sign up for the newsletter. Make sure you see it, because we talk about what I'm reading, what I'm sewing, what I'm cooking. You know, all the things are in there, and it's just really kind of fun. So that will keep us involved with, that will keep you involved with what I'm doing in my life. So now on the mission news, last week we made an announcement that Ron and I were leaving to go on a humanitarian mission at the end of September. So we're here for Birthday Bash, but right after we're leaving and going on to our mission. And so we'll be here for Birthday Bash, and then we're just going on. But you know what we're going to do is we're going to take you with us, and we're going to keep doing, you know, as much as we can. No promises on anything, because we're not sure exactly, like where we'll be, if we'll be in an area with, you know, what is this stuff called?
Good
Wi-Fi?
internet.
Good internet. Thank you. I'm like, this stuff up here, you know that stuff. Anyway, I mostly want to let everybody know how grateful we are. Everybody's been just so nice and so kind and so happy for us, and it's just something we've always wanted to do. So I'm super excited. Natalie and Misty, not so much excited, you know, because they're going to have a lot of work ahead of them.
They're still very excited.
They're still very excited. No, everybody's really happy for us, but I do hope you guys will all jump in and just support them and fill them up with love as well. All right, so we got the book, we got the mission news, we got the oatmeal cake recipe. Oh, this right here.
You have a box.
I have a new toolbox, you guys. And the toolbox is so cool, because this is the first gift Ron ever gave me. That's why it's a toolbox. And this is going to be available for pre-order. Look how beautiful that is. We have our Missouri Star fabric. This is a magnet right here, so you can like take your little pins and you can stick them on there and they'll pin. This is great for storing little rulers or things like that. We have all the tools in here. We have the scissors that are, so let me just tell you for a minute about these scissors, because these are, so your normal scissors, you know, these are your normal scissors. And when I wanted an heirloom quality of scissor, one that you could pass down, because when my grandmother died, I inherited her scissors. And so these scissors are beautiful, but they're heavy and they are tough on my hands. And so we actually went through a process. We made a lighter scissor that is still heirloom quality, that perfect cut. We put the little stars on the blade. Annie, can you see that? Mm-hmm. And do you need to move forward, or do I need to move forward? You can hold them. There we go. Get in there and frame it up. They're so cute, those little stars. And my signature is on there as well, and the Missouri Star logo. But they're lighter, and so you literally, they don't hurt your hands, they don't hurt your shoulders. You can just keep cutting away, which I love. And I really use basically two scissors. So I use a snip right here, and again, same quality, same paint, and tiny little stars on that end. But I use a snip and a big scissor. And then we have my rotary cutter, which is the same as the rotary cutter in the tools. This one here, this part comes out so you can replace it, and you can get replacement of the seam rippers or a replacement stiletto, which is included in my kit, this one. Let me just get that back in there. And then of course you get Olga in this fabulous new color. So this is our rotary cutter. It has a Missouri Star blade on it. The blade also has the tiny little stars on it, which I just think is so fun. I think the decorating of the blades and The scissor tines are so cool. Anyway, this is going to be available for pre-order. When? Let's see. Oh, on this Friday. This Friday. And then it will be coming to us. Is it pre-order? Yeah, pre-order this Friday. I don't know when it'll come. I have to show you. So because of the way this sits, and if you don't have anything in the bottom of your box, which you have lots of room for the bottom of your box, but look what I have in mine. It's a heavy Singer emblem. And I did that so it wouldn't tip over on me. But there's about this much storage in there. So you could easily fit, at least, I don't know, 6 charm packs. You know, whatever it is you want, thread, all that kind of stuff. Closes up so nice, embossed on the front. But the first toolbox Ron gave me was a beautiful, well, it was not beautiful. And I cried over it because, you know, who wants to get a toolbox? But then I realized that for him as a mechanic, that was probably the most personal thing he could give me. Plus he had my name engraved on it. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. He's a thoughtful man. All right, so have I covered everything that we've got going on this week?
I think so.
Oh, wait, I have one more thing right here. So I finished up my, you know, I know you saw this as a panel, but I finished it up. I sewed a 6-inch border on the side. I've got a nice little binding out here. We finished binding it. That was just something I had in my stash. But I got thinking about this quilt. And this, I think, you know how I talk about picnic quilts for weddings? Because if you give a picnic quilt, it becomes their memory quilt. It stays with them in the car. You can make any quilt you want, any color, any size, it doesn't matter. But it will be their car quilt. It'll be the quilt that has all their memories attached to it. And that's a little different than making bedding. I mean, obviously do what you want, but I love the idea of the picnic quilt. So this one, I think will make the grandest picnic quilt. So when you get going to weddings, this is what you want to do. You want to pick up one of these and you want to make this beautiful. Let me step back so you can see it. Can they see it, Annie?
They can.
And
looks so good.
What I think is really fun is you could actually like embroider a little heart for all the parks you've been to, or maybe you could have you could just do something so it's like a checkoff list even. It'd be fun to go see all these different parks, and I just think it's really, really cool. I have one going in my trailer. Natalie has one, and Annie, this one is for you.
I love it.
Annie didn't know she was getting a quilt this morning, but this one is for you because Annie loves to hike and she loves to travel, and now she knows her grandma loves her too. So anyway, I thought that would be a fun little surprise for you. We have we do have a couple of questions from last week too. So one is, how long will I be gone? Is that right, Annie? I should let you ask the questions. Annie, could you ask me the questions?
So you announced your mission last week.
Yes, we did.
How long will you be gone?
We'll be gone 2 years.
Okay.
2 years. And we thought it was only going to be a year. Then we thought a year and a half. But when they called and asked, or when the call came, they asked us to be 23 months. So we're in. We're golden. We love it.
What will happen to the Christmas boxes? Will you still do them while you're gone?
Yes, I will. So we have, if you've heard of the Google Internet.
I think we all have. We love that
place. We do. We love that place. Anyway, we'll be in contact with each other. I'll still be picking the things. I'll just be doing it from a little farther. Natalie and Missy are going to get a little more involved with it. And so we still will do it. It'll just be fun. And yeah, I still get to have an opinion. I'm still going to talk to everybody. You can't really quiet me up, so I'm pretty sure.
Might just look a little different.
It might.
But we'll see. It'll still be the same fun.
It's going to be evolving. Yeah. We have the one done for this year, obviously, and we are almost through with the one for next year already. And so we just have a few more tweaks to make on the picks we've already made. And so, you know, because I want them to be just right. And so as we get those all worked out, the one for next year will be done, and we'll be on to work with the other one. And then guess what? I'll be back. So there we go. All right. What else?
You already announced.
End of September.
When you leave.
Yep.
Perfect.
All right. So there was another question.
2 more.
Okay.
Is the Missouri Star Academy happening again this year? I haven't seen any information about it yet.
So it happens every other year. So probably not this year, but the next year.
Yep.
And that's such a cool event. For those of you who don't know, the Missouri Star Academy is where we bring in designers and fabric houses from all over the world, and they come and they teach classes, mini classes, little 45-minute spiels on things. They'll do trunk shows, they'll do classes, they'll show fabric, they'll tell processes, whatever it is. Anyway, it's a big academy. We generally host it at our elementary school. And the hardest part about the elementary school is we have to take all the baby chairs out and put big people chairs in because they're all little tiny chairs, which I think is really funny that's our biggest problem, All right, what else?
One more question. Could you make an updated version of your scalloped borders tutorial?
Well, just for you guys. So I am actually already working on that. So this is a tutorial I have coming that I'm going to film this week, and it actually has the scalloped edge on it. You can see right here. See that scalloped edge? And let me just talk about the scalloped edge for a minute. So there are loads of ways out there to make scalloped edges and loads of tools, and you got to find one that works for your brain, one that makes sense to you. You can even do it with a bowl. I mean, anything with a curve will work. And so, you're going to start from the middle of your seam and you're going to work your way out, and you're just going to draw around that. Now, what you want to remember is you want to get this quilt quilted first before you ever start working on a scallop. If you cut your quilt into a scallop and then take it to long armor, she will never long arm for you again. But if you take her whole quilt and you bring it back and then you cut your scallops out. And so I'm doing a whole tutorial on that. The tool I like happens to be the Scallop and Vines ruler. It's Quilt in a Day tool. And the reason I like this one, why it makes sense to my brain, is because inside here you can make waves or scallops. But what I love is this right here. The math is done for you. So if your side measures, 24 and a half, you're going to make 7, 3.5-inch scallops. Whatever size scallop you want. For me, the math is done for you. And so it makes it super helpful. So I will be showing this ruler, and this won't come out for, a month or so. After we film, it's generally about 6 weeks or so before the tutorial comes out. But I will be using that Scallop and Vines ruler. And so if that's a ruler that you think will make sense to your brain, you might want to get that. But a scallop, when you make a simple quilt and when you put a scallop edge on it, it takes a quilt from, oh, to ooh, ah. All of a sudden it goes. It's just really fun to see that scallop edge. You might be worried about the bias binding. I'm also going to show that in the tutorial. But this part right here is what worries people most. And let me just show you what I do because it's highly scientific. So what I do is I just do this. I pull it as straight as I can get it. I sew it straight across. When I let it go, it makes its own pleat. So yeah, I probably changed some lives right then, because people that get so wigged about do I do this at 45? How do I do this? It doesn't matter how deep your scallop is. You pull it as straight as you can get it. You sew it, just like you'd sew a normal binding on. We're going to sew it on the top and we're going to wrap it around to the back, and so you just pull it as straight as you can get it and sew that on and then turn it around. And so that is coming up, and that will be happening, we're filming it this week, so it'll be, sometime within the next 6 weeks. And then I just thought you might want to look at this. I have 2 granddaughters here today because of this right here. This is the oatmeal chocolate cake right here. This is, oh my gosh, it smells so good.
Got to get a close-up of that.
Oh my gosh, it's so good. And I have some forks right here. Actually, 1 fork and 2 spoons. And so we're going to all have a little bite of cake. And we hope you guys have the most fabulous day. And I'm just going to go in right at a corner, get me some yummy stuff. Oatmeal chocolate cake. Check out the newsletter. This is where you're going to find that recipe. And we'll see you later, you guys. Have a good day.